All right, everyone. Welcome back to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. So this is for September 25th through October 1st of 2017. And of course, this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel or you don't know what Sidereal Astrology is, be sure to check out the link down below. Very important. Basically, we're using the actual size of the constellations here. And so you definitely want to watch this video for your right sign, because after this collective reading, we are going to get into the individual signs. All right, so this week we've got another eventful week, and mostly in terms of the challenging aspects, as you can see here with the red. It's been a challenging time actually in the astrology collectively lately. I believe the past 2 weeks had a lot more red aspects than blue aspects. But, these are the times of growth, and these are the times of development. And it's through these types of time periods that we do change and develop and grow. Because when things are easy, we may take some action or we may move some things forward, and it might be easy to do that. But these are the times when real change does occur. So we'll talk about how to work with all of this in the most balanced and healthy way, of course, and how to get the most out of this week. And of course, do keep in mind too, though, that your personal chart is, of course, the most important. Your personal chart might have a bunch of trines this week, and easy aspects and things like that. So do keep in mind we're looking at the collective energies here. All right, so as a recap, let's just take a look and see where everything's still placed. We recently had the sun go into Virgo last week, I think it was, or just very early last week, even the week before that, I think. But for about a week, we've had the sun here. So there's been more of this awareness on the details of things in our life, taking care of business problems, finding solutions, fixing things. Virgo is all about that. And this is actually the location of the last new moon we had about a week ago, depending on when you're watching this, which was this whole collective new beginning about how we can, really develop our personal growth, right? So to find solutions and fix things in our environment, but most importantly, to develop ourselves personally through self-improvement. Maybe it's through our regimens, our diets, our work, getting the routine in order. All this stuff which is about self-improvement is just fantastic right now. So Mercury, the ruler of Virgo, is actually shifting into Virgo here around Monday, Tuesday time. So we'll likely notice our mind is starting to shift into probably more about this thinking about how to fix things, right, and find solutions. And this is coming out of what was and still is, though, a fiery energy of Leo, where we still have Venus and Mars, actually. So it's going to be a little bit of both, along with that earthy, daily, practical energy of Virgo. We do still have this fire. And Leo is about self-expression. We can still be very direct with our self-expression right now with Mars here, and enjoying that bit of passion and fun and playfulness and even self-expression in relationships. Okay, in relationships, but just enjoying it nonetheless. Wherever Venus is, it shows where we have a bit of enjoyment, where we can have a bit of enjoyment. Here, with anything that's a passion of ours, self-expression, creativity, things close to the heart. All right, so that's sort of the backdrop, these two signs most certainly being activated. So let's take a look at this week in terms of the aspects coming into it on Monday. We are, at that time, we're still going to be coming off of this Mars opposite Neptune. There's been a lot of these oppositions up to Neptune lately with all these fast movers in Leo going into Virgo. And so if coming out from last Sunday, you are feeling a bit cloudy, muddled, unsure, uncertain, or idealistic. It is very important to be as grounded as we can during any opposition up to Neptune. And in this sense, with what we can accomplish or do or what we want in life. But then at the same time, to really let go, right? That's what Neptune's about, letting go. And Mars is what we want, though. Mars is the things we want now. We want to take action. We have these desires. But this is a balance. This is a balance of letting go of what we don't have control over, which is Neptune, and taking action, but putting action in the direction of where the current of life is taking us, right? When we really access our intuition, and especially if we're doing things like meditating, being very present in our life, we start to notice that there is this flow, there is this current. And instead of fighting upstream, which is what Mars naturally wants to do, right? Swim against the current, we can be receptive to that current and put energy into that current. And I think that's a great way of working with this coming into the week. And that can also clear up any type of uncertainty or doubt if there's anything on that level for you. All right, but on Monday, yeah, we're going to have Mercury squaring up to Saturn. So when it comes to the mind could be quite heavy perhaps on Monday. Our perspective could be heavy. You know, it's important to see things realistically in our life, and I think on Monday we will be. But it's also at the same time important not to see it too realistically to where we become dense or densified. So see the real, truth of the matter, whatever that means for you personally, whether it's about your life or whatever it is. And we will look to see which houses this is for you. But to see it realistically and to take the grounded steps, the patient steps. Really just good to be patient on Monday, especially with anything involving the routine, because there could be maybe, again, this is collective, but maybe a bit of blockage with the routine, restriction, maybe with communication or correspondence, things just not flowing or whatever. So patience, right? Taking a step back. That's what Saturn helps us do, and be disciplined. And so as we're doing that, as we're stepping into Saturn of patience and discipline, then it's very constructive. Then Monday could actually be a very productive day, actually, or where we actually do cross those T's, dot those I's, and get that routine and communication in order. All right, so in terms of the moon, I want to start talking more about the moon in these weekly forecasts. We are going to have the moon in Ophiuchus, Scorpio and Ophiuchus through Monday and Tuesday. So these first couple days, they could be deep emotionally. All right, this happens once a month. It's nothing major, but it is good to be more aware of our deep feelings, okay, and our deep self and the deeper dimensions of life in general. And the best way of working with that is acceptance. As we accept these deep things, whether they're about ourselves or our life, it transforms us, it heals us, especially as we get into Wednesday. Once the moon goes into Sagittarius, Mercury opposes Chiron, which could be this awareness about where we felt wounded. And there's been a lot of this healing last week as well with these oppositions up to Chiron. All right, so some awareness with Mercury, though. Mercury, again, is that practical mind. Become aware of what our wounds are. And I think there is a transformation occurring as we get into about Wednesday, feeling a bit freer, not as deep, right? Sagittarius is about expansion. It's about that fire energy, passion for life, life inspiration, adventurousness, things like that, okay? So, but with that being said, this is now the last aspect between Jupiter and Uranus going exact midweek here. And we'll be feeling this all week, but the pinnacle here is midweek. And this has to do with this final integration since December of last year. December 26th is when this started. Then we had the second one in March 2nd of this year. And this is about revolutionary change. Revolutionary change in our life, wanting that. We've been seeing this collectively as well. There's a lot of, political and social people wanting to break free and make changes, right? That's the collective side to it. But personally, it's very similar, right? We're wanting to make revolutionary change in our life. Now, with the opposition, though, it is about balance. It is about balance. Listen to the change. There's something there our higher self is telling us with Uranus to make change with, all right? But at the same time, with whatever Jupiter contacts, it expands. So we just want to make sure we're not going to any extremes and just staying balanced with our life path, with our perspective. Okay, but I think this is going to happen very naturally, actually. I think by this point, we've all become quite accustomed to this energy. So, again, it's been happening since December. So this is the last one, the final integration of how we can solidify balanced freedom, balanced change. Okay. So if you want to look at your personal life, if you can think back to late December, if there was anything, again, we'll see which houses this is for you. But if you want to see if there's anything in particular that's been regarding this since then, this could be a final integration with that, especially if since March, early March, something shifted with it, a perspective or something like that. All right. So that's very important this week, the most important aspect we've got going on. But we also do have Pluto going station direct in Sagittarius, where the moon will be actually. And the moon will be going over Pluto around this time. So the past roughly 6 months, there has been perhaps a bit of a more internal thing going on in terms of facing fears, in terms of re-examining our belief systems. This is very deep with Pluto. It's not very conscious, but in this subtle way, there's been collectively this reconsideration about what our life path is and what it means to face fears and what it means to make changes in the face of those fears. So whether you've been noticing that internal process the past 6 months or not, because like I said, it's deep, this is starting to go into the now outward side where we do start to notice it. Okay, Pluto going direct, coming out of a retrograde, out of a reconsideration, out of an internal process and into an external one of things moving forward in this area. So with it being in Sagittarius, we could notice around this Thursday time period that our perspective is changing. Okay, that we're starting to see more about what it means to take action in the face of fears and to face our fears in order to expand, in order to go about that life journey, which is what Sagittarius is about. So we'll see which house this is, but there is something shifting, something moving. And for all of us collectively, it certainly has to do with our perspective on life and even what's possible in life. And for many of us, our whole life view, it will be changing during this direct time period. All right, and then over the weekend, Friday and Saturday, we'll be finishing up with the moon in Sagittarius on Friday. But Friday and Saturday, we do have Venus opposing up to Neptune. So this challenging aspect is not that challenging because Venus and Neptune actually get along quite well. But this could be a bit of a dreamy energy in relationships or a bit dreamy with our values. And because of that, maybe uncertainty about relationships or our values. So just like I said earlier with that Mars, it is good to have faith and trust, right? To let go of any ideals and to be as present as we possibly can with our relationships and with the things we enjoy in life, all right? And even with finances and stuff, good to just be, centered in the present moment because Neptune is about awareness. It's just not mental awareness. It's intuitive awareness. So if you're dealing with anything on the relationship front or values or finances, good to listen to that intuition. And if it does require anything that is tangible, like communication, like something needing to be clear, just being as clear as we possibly can and just knowing that maybe it will be a good day to sort of be more receptive about the thing or situation or whatever it might be. All right, so that's that. And then the week does top off with a very nice aspect. The moon will be going into Capricorn Saturday, Sunday. So then there's a little more of a grounded energy coming into the weekend, which could be good for anything productive, stable, patience, persistence. But what I really like about the weekend is Mars is trining up to Pluto. And this is powerful. This is where those personal needs I was talking about, which are more muddled early in the week or Monday, Tuesday, get activated in a fiery side with Pluto and Sag and Mars and Leo, fire trine. So very powerful. I think we'll be starting to see where we can remove some obstacles. Again, Mars is the action. Pluto is the change. Pluto is the facing of the fears, but we're willing to do that. We're willing to. Now, of course, it's an easy aspect, so we don't want to rest on our laurels, right? But utilize it. Utilize this going into next week about where you can make some change that may require some confidence, some motivation, which on some level you will have. So use it. But mustering up that action and confidence to make some changes, to face some fears going into next week, I think could be very positive. All right, so that is the week in a nutshell. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below, but let's go and look at this now for the individual signs. There is timestamps down in the comment section for your signs. I do recommend watching this for your sun, moon, and ascendant sign. And again, if you don't know what those sidereal signs are, there's also a chart calculator for you to check those out. All right, so I'll see you very soon here on the other side. All right, Aries, welcome to your weekly forecast. So still a lot of concentration on your 5th house of your passions, whatever your passions are in life, wherever you've been putting that energy. Still very much emphasized with your ruler there, and you could be enjoying this area, in fact, with Venus. Now, on Monday, your ruler Mars is still opposing up to Neptune, so again, just being as receptive as possible, maybe getting a alone time, a step back, being as clear as we can. And again, listening to your intuition, I think, is very important. Now, as we get into here Monday, Tuesday as well, Mercury shifting into your 6th house, which is where you had the last new moon, actually. And this is the house of your work and your day-to-day activities. So still an excellent week for cultivating this area as we continue through this lunar cycle. Having to do with it, you can be gaining energy through this area. It is requiring a bit of patience, of course, because Mercury will be squaring up to the Saturn, which does suggest that, again, it's good to see things realistically, maybe about the work and routine, and just be as patient as possible. And so taking it one step at a time with that routine or day-to-day stuff, and also with communication, just being patient there or work hard on that. And again, it can be a very productive day if you're willing to implement that patience and persistence there. All right, so midweek is the big kahuna aspect here, Jupiter opposite up to Uranus. So this is involving, again, the work sector, which is where Jupiter has been expanding. I think a lot of you have been seeing opportunities to, this past year, to expand with your work or routine. But now it is requiring this balance once again, as has been the case since December, of seeing how you can still have peace and presence and yet work and routine in your life. You need the spiritual life and the physical life and how they can be implemented. And you may be wanting to break free spiritually, to have more peace, tranquility in your life. And you may also want to just maybe put all of your energy into your work or your day-to-day. But it is about balance and yet listening to the freedom, yet integrating the two. There is this integration of more spiritual acceptance, which can give you that freedom, but at the same time without neglecting your day-to-day responsibilities and expanding on that level. Okay, now Pluto going direct, this is in your 9th house, so your perspective, I think, will be shifting here about midweek, about how you can face your fears along the life journey. All right, to see life perhaps in a way that's more about inspiration, adventure, open-mindedness, seeing possibilities and potentials, but it may face some fears to do that. But it's shifting, it's moving forward, and I think you'll start to notice this energy as we get into the coming weeks. It takes time for Pluto to gain momentum, but these coming weeks, this sort of forward-moving shift in terms of you making changes along the life path. Now, Friday, Saturday does have Venus opposite up to Neptune. So that bit of watery energy I was talking about with relationships and values, that's particularly the case for you because she does rule those same sectors, relationships, values, finances, things like this. And just seeing that I think there are ideals for either group things or your tribe and even your aspirations, but also balance here. Balance in terms of it's such a good time for you to be enjoying your passions and considering how your passions are what your ideals need, right? And your passions and having fun are what your tribe needs, right? It needs you to be having fun, enjoying yourself. So really good to integrate those two. And again, just kind of being present and intuitive when it comes to your values and resources in general. All right, and then the week does end with your ruler Mars trining up to Pluto, which is very nice. I think going into next week, there should be the sense of power about you. You're again willing to face fears around this time and express yourself and cultivate some of these passions and again transform along that life journey of the 9th house of changing your perspective. So use that motivation, drive, use that willingness to face fears, to remove obstacles, however you're feeling that. And I think you'll find that to be a very constructive way of working with that trine, excuse me. All right, Aries, so have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful for you. Let me know down in the comment sections if you have any questions. And thank you for all of you who've been liking and sharing these videos. But I'll see you all very soon for the next weekly forecast. All right, Taurus, welcome to your weekly forecast. So let's first have a look at your ruler Venus, who is in the 4th house. You got Mars there as well. I think there is still a theme in terms of your home life, or for some of you, your health. So still good to be actually enjoying and connecting to this area and seeing what you value about this area. And also, too, to be putting perhaps motivation and drive into this area. That could be through your health, such as working out. It could be through renovating. It could be through doing active things at home, whatever that might be for you. But coming into this week, again, remaining balanced because Neptune's still in your 10th house, muddling things in terms of your career, your productive life. So good to let go of what's outside of your control with this area, be present with it, and balance that with spending time at home or with family or, with your health, with your body. Mercury is going to be shifting into your 5th house right off the bat, Monday, Tuesday. And this is where the whole lunar cycle just started. This is the house of what you're passionate about. So still great to be focused on your passions right now, even though it's had that bit of seriousness with Saturn. And Mercury squaring Saturn on Monday in particular. So just being patient, grounded with what you're passionate about, what you're creating, okay, either or. And with relationships as well, with Saturn over there in your 7th house of relationships. And just take it one step at a time. And with patience and persistence, you can find this to be a very grounded beginning of the week in terms of that self-expression, those passions, as well as those relationships. Now, Wednesday, Thursday is the Jupiter opposite up to Uranus aspect. Very important, last one since December. And this is also activating that self-expression, okay, your passion, things you find fun in life, enjoyable in life, and balancing this with this wanting to break free in terms of your aspirations or your tribe, okay? I'm using the word tribe to refer to groups now because, we're human beings and our tribe is very important to us, and all of us do need a tribe. And so something on this level in terms of groups that you're wanting to break free from, break through with, very important to listen to this week, but again, remain grounded with, right? We don't want to go to any extremes. And the groundedness is the balance between how you can cultivate your ideals and connect with your tribe, but at the same time, enjoy yourself, express yourself, because the tribe, your ideals need you to be having fun, need you to be enjoying what you're doing. And that is what Jupiter is helping you cultivate in that 5th house. All right, so with that being said, Pluto is going direct in your 8th house. So there are shifts and changes taking place with the deeper dimensions of life and also with shared resources. So if there's been anything you've been rethinking about vulnerability, openness, or shared resources these past 6 months, that's starting to move forward for you direct. Give it time, but certainly moving forward. And I think you'll be willing to now start to implement this change of facing any fears to be vulnerable or to connect in this interdependent way. That's with that willingness, I think you'll find that to be aligning to this direct period. All right, Friday through Saturday, Venus does oppose up to Neptune. So your ruler here, bit of muddledness if we try to think about things practically. It's not always muddledness, but if the mind gets involved. So Friday, Saturday, really good days for maybe getting some rest, some intuitive time, listening, anything that helps you get into a state of presence. Okay, and again, faith and trust, letting go of what's outside of your control there with the career stuff. And then again, connecting to your home and your health life, I think could be great ways of balancing that energy out. Then the week does end with Mars trine up to Pluto. There is this powerful change ending the week, or can be if we choose to utilize this, and it does involve your home and your health sector. Also involves relationships as well. Okay, so I think there's powerful changes here. If there's any, and they're intertwined here, is basically what it's saying with Mars in that 4th house. So powerful changes here in terms of your home life or your health. Really good to step into any action, confidence that you may or may not have regarding that, but to use anything you do have in terms of facing fears, making changes, and then also with relationships as well. And I think you'll find that to be a very supportive energy for those areas in general. And again, I think it does involve this willingness to face fears of the 8th house, and maybe even willingness to be vulnerable and willingness to share with those resources perhaps that could be a powerful force for you. All right, Taurus, so have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful for you, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Gemini, welcome to your weekly forecast. So right off the bat, you got Mercury shifting sign going into your 4th house. You'll likely notice around Monday, Tuesday time, this sort of more emphasis now on your home or your health life. There's already been an emphasis here because the sun has been here and the last lunar cycle started here. But with your ruler going into the 4th, I think starting to emphasize this for about the next month and a half, mainly. And so this will be about establishing your home life more. Some of you may be relocating or thinking about that. Some of you may be remodeling, redoing the home, and some of you may be just getting more in touch with your family and with your health. Okay, so personal stuff, really good right now, and I think you'll find that to be a good energy to unlock. Now, with that being said, Mercury is squaring Saturn on Monday, so coming into the week, just being patient, grounded in general. Really good. So, and also involving the home or health stuff as well, but with you in general. So just kind of maybe taking a step back or challenge yourself, right? Be patient, be disciplined, do the work, whatever that means for you. Or take a step back if you feel like that's needed. And I think you'll find that it can be very constructive beginning of the week. Now, Jupiter is opposite up to Uranus on Wednesday, Thursday, this final hurrah of this aspect since December of last year. And this has been involving, again, that home, personal sector, as well as your career sector. So balance between the two. A lot of you are likely wanting to break free when it comes to your career or make some changes so you can have more freedom in it. And by all means, listen to that. But again, it's about balance. So make the change, but stay rooted in your personal life, home, health, so important in order to have good career. And we really can't have one without the other. So it's a balance of both, an integration of both. And I think you'll find this to perhaps be any type of final culmination in terms of this area, home or career, that's been bottlenecking, that's been wanting to break free through, maybe finally cultivating, finally integrating this week. All right, so Pluto is going direct in your 7th house of relationships. A lot of you have likely been reconsidering the past 6 months, the whole relationship area in terms of openness, depth, and really breaking patterns in relationships. So that's starting to move forward. A lot of you might be starting to do that again. It's coming out into the open around Thursday of you now for the next 6 months, facing those fears, breaking those chains, and breaking those patterns that are holding you back regarding relationships. All right, Friday, Saturday, Venus opposite Neptune. So there is this uncertainty perhaps for you in terms of the, just in general, maybe the life path, because Neptune is in your 9th house. And this has already been the case, so it is important for you to have that more receptive approach to your path. Know that everything does happen in divine timing. Let go of what's outside of your control in general, and see how you can still develop that with the practical side of things. Because right now, I think you could still be enjoying maybe reading some books, writing practical stuff. You're motivated, probably very direct with your communication right now with Mars in the 3rd, or to learn or to share ideas or to trade. But this is an integration of what is practical and also what is possible. But what the possible is muddled with the Neptune. So it is about taking action towards what you do have control over, which I think right now is certainly your practical stuff in your life, whatever that is, and letting go of what is outside of your control, having to do with the path, with the future, okay, with all of that stuff. And I think that could be a good way of working with it. And it's not totally personal for you, but a good way of working with it Friday and Saturday. All right, and then the week does end with Mars trining up to Pluto going into next week. Very powerful aspect, really supporting actually this 3rd house of whatever it's been practically. It's also creating a lot of positive change, like I said, for your relationships, I feel like. So with whatever's shifting there, as I was talking about earlier, with that shift of facing fears with relationships, it could be a very powerful force for you to communicate, to maybe get in contact with your community or your neighbors or your peers, and to learn in general and to share and exchange. That's what the third house is all about. And also too, in terms of your routine as well, maybe making some powerful changes with your work or your day-to-day. Could be a very good way of working with it. And again, it's an easy aspect, so we do want to utilize it, but the energy is certainly there. All right, Gemini, so have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please like, comment, and share this video with your friends and family. And I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Cancer, welcome to your weekly forecast. So there's a lot of concentration of energy here in your second and third houses, which has been the case. And second house is about your values and your resources. I think you can be enjoying and attracting the things you value in life and your resources. And it's motivating as well. Using that energy can be great. Now, Mercury is shifting into that third house to join up with and get closer to the sun. And so there is likely this continued development this week, you'll notice, in terms of your practical stuff. Third house is anything that's about reading, writing, communication, and also your peers or your siblings. So anything on that department, even business and trade for some of you, really good to be developing, cultivating this week, especially because it's all part of that lunar cycle we just had starting here last week. Now, with that being said, Mercury is going to be squaring up to Saturn. So on Monday, maybe just being patient in general with some of those things, the communication, correspondence, not seeing things too densely either against your third house. So it's our minds, but constructively. Any patience, persistence, discipline you can bring in on Monday can be very constructive for you in regards to those areas. Practical stuff in life. All right, so Wednesday, Thursday, we do have Jupiter opposite up to Uranus. So this is this final culmination since last December in regards to, in this case, that whole practical stuff, because the past year, basically, you've had this great opportunity to learn or read or write or communicate or get in touch with your community or your peers. And that's been expanding, which is great. But then at the same time, there's been this wanting to break free in regards to your life path and in regards to more of the philosophical stuff or the spiritual stuff, you know, stuff that's more expansive and future oriented with Uranus there. And some of you maybe with travel or higher learning or adventure, wanting to break free there. So listen to the freedom there, whatever that is for you personally. But stay balanced with it. It is an integration of both, because we can't have this expansive, adventurous, open-minded stuff without the practical stuff, without the practical mind, right? And the integration of the two. So integrating both, I think, is great. But again, you've been already working with this. Whatever this means for you personally could be a culmination in terms of if there's been anything in particular since last December there. All right, so now in terms of this Pluto direct, Pluto will be going direct on Thursday in your sixth house. A lot of you have been facing some fears over the past many years, since about 2007, I believe it is, 10 years now. of facing fears in terms of your work or your day-to-day routine. Okay, so that's been kind of, and I'll pause the past 6 months, which is great, but now Pluto's going direct where you can start to implement more of this change. And the change is when we face fears and we accept the fear, the worst case scenario, that we liberate ourselves, we free ourselves, and we make the changes we do want to see. So that's all changing and shifting for you with the day-to-day sector. And just give it time, because Pluto is shifting. It takes time for Pluto to gain momentum, but it is certainly involving that area for you. Now, Venus is opposite up to Neptune here Friday, Saturday. So this bit of balance with the resource stuff, if there's anything muddled with that, maybe with the home life, it's possible, or your tribe or friends. Just kind of taking a step back if anything is muddled around that time. And also remembering the balance between, there's this material stuff, which again is so important for you right now. But then there's also this all this non-material stuff, all this deeper stuff in life. So, of course, it's a balance of both of those, that we can enjoy things, but at the same time, we want to connect to what truly matters and be receptive to those things. All right, and then the week does end with a bang with Mars trending up to Pluto, which is a very nice aspect, helping you make some likely constructive changes with your resource sector. Finances could be for a lot of you. And it's all associated with, in this case, your career and your passions in life. Okay, so I think there's going to be some positive changes with your career that you can implement, so that you can start to take steps towards going into next week. And also with your self-expression. A lot of you will likely be very powerful with your self-expression. And anything you've been creating or you're passionate about also gets this dose of change, willingness to change, take action towards to strip away any fears, to cultivate those things. All right, so Cancer, hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Leo, welcome to your weekly forecast. So there's a lot of concentration of energy still in your sign. You got Venus and Mars in Leo. And so you can still be enjoying connecting, whether it's in your relationships or you're just maybe feeling good, really good time for going to the salon, clothes, sprucing up that self-image. And you're just very motivated, very direct right now, very clear, all things being considered, on your personal needs and who you are and what you want in life. You know, there's that confidence, there's that Mars energy in your sign right now. So with that being said, Mercury is shifting out of your sign, going into the second house of resources here right at the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, to join up with the sun who's already been there. So it's already been emphasized, your ruler here. And even with this last new moon we had, this whole new cycle that started last week, is suggesting this whole month, and the next 30 days basically, it's very much about your resources. Okay, real good to be focusing on increasing your material security, investments, savings, things like that. You'll likely notice your mind is going more into this area this week. Now, do be patient with this stuff. Monday, there might just be a bit of seriousness about it or restriction. And so any patience or discipline you can implement can be very constructive in regards to those areas, resources this week. Now, the sun is going to, actually, what was I going to say? I was going to talk about Jupiter, right? So Jupiter has already been in that second house. So for about the past year, there's already been expansion with your resources, right? Investment, savings, whatever it's been, or just your sense of self-worth, actually, right? What your time's worth, energy's worth, what you're worth. And so now Jupiter's opposing up to Uranus on Wednesday, Thursday is this final culmination since last December about how you can have freedom in your life. And I think this is freedom in terms of what truly matters to you in life, and freedom of connecting to life on a deeper level, and even connecting to relationships on a deeper level through openness and vulnerability. This is the freedom that is trying to come through. So listen to that, but at the same time, stay nice and grounded with the resource sector, right? Because that, we can't have one without the other. We can't have this deeper, these things in life that truly matter if we're not rooted in earth, if we don't have the material security, we don't have the resources to do that. So it is about integration. It is about a balance of both. And if the 8th house is involving other people's finances for you, I think it's a really good week to find balance between your self-reliance and relying on others without going to any extremes either, if it's on that level for you. All right. So that's the midweek opposition. And then Pluto does go direct here around Thursday in your 5th house. Some of you maybe been rethinking your passions in life, what you enjoy in life, but that's starting to shift and move forward for you. So come Thursday, give it some time. But there is a shift taking place about facing fears to enjoy things in life. It sounds very paradoxical, I know, but when Pluto's in the 5th house, it's like we can have a fear of actually enjoying the things we're passionate about, or simply enjoying life. So that's shifting. I think it's a great time to start seeing where you can face fears here so you can enjoy these passions of yours and create and express yourself. Now, Friday, Saturday, Venus does oppose up to Neptune, suggesting that the whole relationship area has been perhaps a bit muddled, but it's been important for you to have faith and trust in this area, be present with this area. And I think that's another sort of good thing to remember this Friday, Saturday time period. Also, if you do notice there's any uncertainties about your career, good to be present there as well. And also with communication, just make sure things are clear with Venus ruling your 3rd house. Now, Saturday, Sunday, Mars does trine up to Pluto, a very powerful energy, which is in your 1st house, in that 5th house. I think whatever's shifting with that self-expression of yours, it very much is supporting you and where you're putting your energy and your goals right now, which is great. Also supporting your home life. If you feel that there's any changes you want to make to your home or your health, that might be you have this opportunity to face these fears now, or it's easier to do this. By all means, if your inner guidance is telling you, making those changes could be, a supportive energy for you along the life journey. And a lot of you too are changing your perspective about life with this aspect as well. All right, so Leo, hope you have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Virgo, welcome to your weekly forecast. So first of all, happy birthday for those of you who have your sun sign birthdays this week. But all of you do have the sun in your sign. You got Mercury, your ruler, actually coming into your sign right off the bat Monday, Tuesday. So this is nice because of the fact that when the ruler is in the 12th house, it really does create a very internal time period. So it's still kind of like that. You still do have Venus and Mars there. So still good to get your alone time, your rest, your meditative time, learn more about yourself psychologically and spiritually. But with your ruler coming out of the 12th, there's likely going to be some more clarity on some level coming into this week. I think there'll be a little more clarity about your goals, who you are, where you're headed. And I think it is just a fantastic time to be cultivating those personal needs of yours. Now, with that being said, though, Mercury, your ruler, is squaring up to Saturn on Monday. So, you know, this is a sensitive part of the chart here between Leo and Virgo right now. Squaring Saturn, just a bit of patience, all right? Taking things nice and slow, one step at a time. I think the more you develop or bring into your sphere this patience and persistence this week, Monday time, I think you'll find this to be a very constructive time where maybe you are building some things and you're working on some things that can be, yes, very constructive for you. Now, Wednesday, Thursday, we do have the Jupiter opposite up to Uranus. So this has been going on since last December, and this has likely been involving relationships for you. So the past roughly 7 years at this point, it's been really important for you to have freedom in your relationships. So now it's a final culmination if you've been involved with anything since December in terms of freedom and relationships that now you could be sort of integrating. Now, it's important to stay balanced with that, however, because with Uranus and when Jupiter contacts Uranus, sometimes we want to go to extremes. So the key here is to balance how you can still have that freedom, but at the same time, stay connected to your personal needs, right? So cultivating your relationships and the freedom there, or freedom in relationships that is needed, but at the same time, staying true to your personal needs, because we can't have one without the other. We can't have relationships without good clarity on who we are and what we want in life and just being independent, right? So how can you enjoy the interconnected side of your relationships while maintaining your autonomy and your independence, I think is a great thing to be aware of or consider this middle part of the week. And if there's been anything involving relationships since December on this level, it could be culminating this week as well. Now, Pluto is going direct in your 4th house. So the past pretty much, well, in this case, like 10 years, there's been changes taking place with your home or with your health or your past and even your soul, even facing fears, making changes. So this is all starting to move forward for you, where around Thursday and onward, I think you'll start to notice the shift of stepping into this power now to face fears in order to make internal changes in regards to your perspective of your home or your health are usually the most two common things regarding that 4th house. Now, at the end of the week, that Pluto does trine up to Mars, okay? So as we get into next week, or the end of this week, Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday of next week, this is all very supportive. So this power, this shift that's taking place with this personal stuff in your life, I think is very much assisting you with your spiritual, your peace, your tranquility, which again is being developed at this time. And there could be, for a lot of you, a sort of spiritual liberation, spiritual freedom of even letting go of some things. The 12th house is the house of loss. And when it's a trine and powerful like this, we could be willing to let go of the things that are holding us back. So if you're guided to listen to your inner guidance, that's of course the most important thing, but there's a lot of positive support for you here in this watery, personal, spiritual area over the weekend. Now also over the weekend though, Venus is going to be opposing up to Neptune. This will be mostly Friday and Saturday. So if there is anything that's uncertain in regards to the finances, the resources, or your life path in general, really good to meditate on it, be present. Again, receptive energy is just great. And, you know, have faith and trust in regards to your work, your day-to-day, if there's anything uncertain about that. Because Neptune has been in your 6th, and this is about integrating both peace, tranquility into your day-to-day life, and vice versa, cultivating your day-to-day life with more peace and acceptance. All right, so Virgo, have a fantastic week. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Libra, welcome to your weekly forecast. So your rulers, they're in the 11th house with Mars. This is the house of your ideals and also the house of your tribe. I've been noticing more of a good way of describing the 11th being your tribe, because we are, of course, humans, and we all do need to be a part of a tribe and cultivate that area. So hopefully you've been developing that in your life, whether it's online, technologically, or whatever it is, but really good there to continuously develop both your ideals and your tribe. Now, with that being said, Mercury shifting out of that 11th, going into your 12th house to join up with the Sun, who started the last lunar cycle here just last week, involving the area of spirituality. All right, so the 12th house, this is the house where we finally come full circle back around to finding peace in life, tranquility. It's already been an area of expansion for you, in fact, with Jupiter here, likely learning a lot about serendipity, rest, meditation, or whatever it is that's helping you connect to your beingness. And so just kind of being cool with this stuff around Monday. Mercury is going to be squaring up to Saturn. Really good to challenge yourself with maybe things like meditation or spiritual activities. Whatever it is on that level, and just kind of the more patient, persistent you are in general, maybe involving some of that resources or finance stuff. Just kind of be cool with that Monday, and then that energy does lift off as we go into Tuesday. But challenge yourself. It could be constructive here, both for your spiritual life and your resource sector. Now, midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, we got that Jupiter opposite up to Uranus. So this final integration of breaking free since last December. And this is involving also the spiritual area for you, but also your work and routine, or whatever you do on a daily level. You've been likely needing freedom in this area for about the past 7 years. And so now it's another step in the right direction. And a final integration, if since December you felt like you wanted to break free with the work or the routine or the day-to-day, but then you need that rest and relaxation, that spiritual time, this could be a final integration of this. And the best way of working with it is to balance the two, integrate the two. How can you have your freedom at work or in your day-to-day while at the same time get in touch with your spiritual self and your alone time? Okay, so needing to be integrated here this week. All right, so Pluto's going direct, and this is in your 3rd house. So this is the house of your mind and how you think about things and reading and writing. There's likely been a lot of powerful changes with your perspective over the past 10 years with Pluto here. But now things are starting to move forward in terms of, I think, you starting to communicate in a way that's just more connected to what matters most in life and facing your fears, right? And maybe some of you too, like sharing or writing or reading and exchanging, learning, right? Something shifting where it's stepping into your power here. And this area starting to move forward for you slowly but surely in the coming weeks, starting Thursday onward. All right, Friday, Saturday does have your ruler Venus opposite Neptune. So if there's any uncertainty with anything, it means your ruler, so it could be general, but maybe involving that tribe or your ideals, but probably more so involving your passions in life. Neptune's been in your 5th. And so this is important to really, again, let go of what's outside of your control with passion, with the things you're passionate about or the things you create. and to really listen, be receptive. Really good day, Friday, Saturday, again, for spiritual activities, receptivity, letting go of what's outside of your control. And if there's anything you're doing tangibly, just being as clear as possible about it with that Neptune influence. All right, Saturday, Sunday, the week does end with Mars trining up to Pluto very powerfully with whatever's shifting here with this perspective. And this communication and this practical energy of yours is very much supporting this energy going towards your ideals and your tribe. Okay, so all of your future ideals, your hopes, wishes for the future, great to put energy into that, using that confidence or action if you have it, and also into your tribe, your friends, your network circles, and even into your relationships and your finances as well. In fact, they're all intertwined right now at the moment. You know, you're really seeing the value of your ideals, your aspirations, and your network circles. And you're also perhaps connecting on this level with your relationships, perhaps, or maybe online, technologically, whatever it is. So this whole area, these areas that are intertwined with whatever you feel like, Saturday, Sunday, going into next week is a great time to make some steps towards, to face some fears with, to remove some obstacles with. Can be fantastic. All right, Libra, so have a fantastic week. Thank you for all of your likes, comments, and shares with these videos. And I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. Scorpio and Ophiuchus, welcome to your weekly forecast. So let's have a look at your ruler Mars, who's up at the top of the chart in your career sector, or this is also the sector of your public image, achievement, success, whatever it might be for you. Really good to be putting energy into this big picture stuff in your life at this time, and enjoying it, seeing the value of it with Venus there as well. Now, Mercury is going to be squaring up to Saturn coming into the week, so matters pertaining to your network circles, your aspirations in life, and what I call your tribe. This is an area of development. It's an area that's it has been expanding for about the past year, but it's starting to develop now in a more immediate sense. So your mind's shifting into here, probably going to be thinking about your ideals or your tribe at this time, but be patient with it. Mercury squares up to Saturn from your first house. So really good to just integrate into your personality, into your sphere, this bit of patience and persistence with whatever the either ideal or tribe stuff might be pertaining to, or just with yourself in general with Saturn in the first. Now, midweek is when we have Jupiter opposite up to Uranus, so it has been expanding. You know, I think the past year it has been really good for your network circles or your ideals. I mean, at least the opportunities are there. And if there's been anything since December pertaining to this, that is regarding freedom and breaking free, and the breaking free is likely, you know, wanted or needed in regards to your self-expression, in regards to your passions in life. All right, so that's where Uranus has been in your fifth. Anything you're passionate about, there's some sort of breaking free in this area, and then to express yourself and be yourself, because that's really what the tribe needs, and that's what your ideals need, right? Future ideals need us to be doing what we're passionate about, doing what we enjoy. Same with our friends or network circles or groups or communities or organizations we're a part of. So if there's been anything since December on this axis involving these things, it could be a final integration of it. But again, remember this importance of balance between the two without going to either extreme. We don't want to just go into our own personal enjoyments, neglecting the tribe or our future. And we don't want to just go into the future and our tribe without staying connected to who we truly are. All right, so that's midweek. And then Pluto also midweek around Thursday goes station direct in your second house of your resources. If you've been rethinking or redoing the resource sector the past 6 months, That's starting to move forward for you. Give it time, but it is about facing fears. It is about accepting the worst case scenario. It is about even living in a way that's just you're accepting of however things might be in this area that liberates you, that frees you up. Okay, and you've already been developing this for about the past 10 years. So it's just another shift in that right direction. Now, Friday, Saturday, Venus does oppose up to Neptune from the 10th house. So on this day, if there's anything muddled, uncertain, maybe about the career, maybe about relationships, and probably it's all pivoting on the uncertainty that might be the case with your home or your health sector. So again, as it has been the case, it's been important for you to have faith and trust when it comes to your home and your health. Let go of what's outside of your control there. Can help free you up if you are feeling any of that muddled energy, or just ideals or uncertainty. Now, the week does end Saturday, Sunday with your ruler Mars trining up to Pluto, which is very powerful actually, especially for your signs. And this is again coming from whatever this shift is with this starting to face fears when it comes to your resources. Now, when I say resources, this really pertains fundamentally to your inner sense of self-worth. That's really what's starting to shift and what has been transforming. So this sense of self-worth is very much supporting now this whole career productive sector. And Saturday, Sunday, Monday of next week, really good to be taking any action or confidence you may have to make changes there, to put energy into the productive life, even into your work and your routine as well, which can also be very powerful. All right, so Scorpio and Ophiuchus, hope you have a fantastic week. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly forecast. So this whole cycle, this whole lunar cycle started last week, has been in regards to your 10th house of your career or your productive life. It's also been the area of emphasis for about the past year with your ruler there. Now, Mercury is squaring up to Saturn on Monday, so good to be patient or cool when it comes to the career productive stuff. Maybe take a step back or maybe challenge yourself to work hard in this area, whatever your inner guidance is telling you. But good to be patient and persistent nonetheless. And also in regards to relationships, there could be perhaps a bit of clash or limitation or just seriousness about that area. But again, it lifts off on Tuesday, and do use this time, I think, to integrate really building things in the long term, which is what Saturn always helps us do, to do things responsibly. Now, Jupiter does oppose up to Uranus, so there's been a lot of this likely wanting to break free energy for your sign since December. And it's likely been involving this sector, your career sector. But I think the freedom really in terms of your home, your location, your family, or your health. So the personal stuff in life. Anything in that area, if you've been feeling like breaking free through or from since December, this is now a final integration, the final aspect of this. Listen to that freedom. There is something that perhaps needs to change so you do have more freedom in your personal life, but without going to either extremes. There is this, again, rootedness right now in your home, in your career, in your productive life, in your future life, right? Productivity, achievement, success, all of this. And integrating the two really is key. Without going to either just into the career and productive life or just into the home and personal life. It's about both, integration of both, because of course we can't have one without the other. Can't have good career without good home or health, and we can't have good home or health life if we don't have something productive, achievement, some long-term big picture that we need in life. So Pluto is going direct in your sign as well. You're shifting in another way in terms of accepting any fears that have been coming up in terms of your self-image, your goals in life. You've been shedding and transforming for a long time, for about the past 10 years actually. So it's another step in the right direction where maybe around Thursday there's just this now integration of what you've learned these past 6 months about yourself on a deeper level, and maybe what your fears are, what's holding you back, and what patterns you can break, and things you can face, and changes you can make. So maybe a shift there on Thursday. Give it time. Pluto's got to gain momentum, but there is this now forward moving energy in terms of you consistently changing through the facing of fears and removing of obstacles and breaking of chains and patterns that are holding you back, as they all are for all of us. But for you, it's this opportunity to make those changes. Friday, Saturday, Venus does oppose up to Neptune. So if there's any uncertainty on those days involving your life path, involving your work or day-to-day, or involving your groups or network circles, do just kind of be patient, or just kind of take a step back with Neptune. Right? Good to meditate, good to maybe get some rest, receptivity. And if there's anything tangibly you're working on with the routine, the life path, or groups, good to be as clear as possible with the opposition up to Neptune, Friday, Saturday time period. All right, and then Saturday, Sunday, we have Mars trining up to that Pluto. So with whatever these shifts are, again, it happens once a year, Pluto direct in your sign, once a year the past 10 years. Whatever's shifting there, though, it is very much supporting, I think, your life path at this time, and your perspective and your adventurous spirit. And for some of you, your travel or higher learning or university studies, whatever you've been putting your energy into lately, in terms of expanding your mind or expanding your literal self or your life, really good energy there this later part of the week going into Monday. Really good for just feeling like there's a bit of confidence, a bit of action, willingness to put energy into those areas, and also to express yourself as well, actually, with Mars ruling your fifth. All right, so Sagittarius, have a fantastic week. I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Capricorn, welcome to your weekly forecast. So right off the bat this week on Monday, your ruler does square up to Mercury on Monday, Tuesday. So coming into the week, just being as clear as you can with whatever communications, correspondence, routine stuff you might be involved with. Just making sure that the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, the communication is sent correctly, and just challenging yourself with that routine, I feel like, just taking it one step at a time and building upon it. Now, with that being said, there is this shift of your mind taking place, in terms of your mind, coming out of this deeper area, which still is activated for you. You still have Mars and Venus in your 8th house. This is the house of connecting to life in a vulnerable way, expressing yourself in a vulnerable way, really breaking patterns and unhealthy cycles in your life. But there is this transformation with Mercury now going into your 9th, which is more of an adventurous area. In fact, this whole last cycle from last week, the new moon, started this new adventurous, open-minded, free-spirited area of your life. So really good to continuously focus on this, whether it's quite literally such as through travel or hikes or adventure, or if it's with your mind, right? Higher learning, university for some of you, philosophy, spirituality, and just fundamentally expanding your mind to what's possible. And that's what Jupiter's been already helping you do the past year, is see the benefits of thinking positively or thinking openly and having a top-down, larger perspective on life and even manifestation. So with that, Jupiter's opposing up to Uranus midweek, Wednesday, Thursday, which does suggest that there is this wanting to break free energy invoking again. It's been taking place since December, and it's likely for you been involved with anything on the practical front of things, whether it's involving communication or reading or writing, or your peers or your neighbors, or some of you business and trade, right? Wanting to break free on something on that level. So listen to that freedom, but watch any extremes, as I've been saying, in the sense that it's about a balance of both. Yes, the freedom there, but also staying true to this adventurous spirit of yours, right? The life path, the possibilities, the potentials. It's important to have, a balance of both. How can you have both your practical stuff in terms of it being free, but at the same time opening your mind to possibilities, because we can't have one without the other. What is practical, right? We get to because we open our mind to what's possible. And only the things that are, really possible are the things that are practical. Right? Only things that are real are the things that are practical. So integrating these two, left and right side of the brain, possibility, creativity mixed with practicality, right? Tangibility. And I think you'll find that sort of energy really good to integrate and balance this week. And again, if it's been anything on this level since December, could be a final culmination involving these things. Now, Pluto is going direct in your 12th house. This is usually very unconscious, very deep in the 12th, especially when Pluto's here. But there's likely been a lot of, over the past since 2007, a lot of maybe deep fears coming up, feelings of loss, not having, losing things, or just life, or whatever it is, just very deep. And so you kind of got a break from this for the past 6 months, but now Pluto is going direct, and it's going to help you now for the next 6 months start to continue to face those fears in terms of loss, not having, and getting your alone time, your rest and your relaxation to rest and really get into the tranquil aspects of life through doing this inner work, where it could be psychological. You may see it that way, or you may see it as more spiritual in nature. All right, but very unconscious. And either way, I think on Thursday onward, though, there is this sort of shift going into the coming weeks about you facing fears, breaking patterns, willing to let go, to not have to have, to let go of loss. We're willing to lose, let's say, and that could be a very powerful force for you moving forward there. All right, Friday, Saturday, Venus does oppose up to Neptune. And so those 2 days, if there's anything that you want to be clear about in terms of your career or your passions or your resources, I think it's good. And I think that's probably where it's going to be activated, is that, for about the past 7 years here, there has been this importance of you having faith and trust with the resource sector. So it could be finances, could be investment savings, just enjoying the simple life, the material security. So it's about letting go of what's outside of your control in this area as best as you can Friday, Saturday. And I think you'll find that to be a great way of working with this. And remembering too that right now it really is a time of, again, getting into the deeper dimensions, breaking patterns, breaking cycles, but at the same time, really being grateful for what you have in terms of your resources, the stuff Earth provides, your material life. All right, so Saturday, Sunday, the week does end with Mars trining up to Pluto, very powerful aspect, giving you positive energy there in terms of breaking patterns, facing fears, breaking those chains, things that are holding you back. And Mars also does rule your 4th house of home and your health, so you could see some maybe positive changes there. But again, we got to be the willing participant with these easy aspects. To be, if you're guided to, if your inner guidance is telling you, making those changes in terms of your home, your health, breaking those patterns, those cycles, as well as maybe even your ideals, connecting to your ideals, and maybe even with your tribe or your friends, right? This type of stuff is just really good to put positive energy into if you are guided to. All right, so Capricorns, have a fantastic week. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Aquarius, welcome to your weekly forecast. So coming into this week, we got Mercury squaring up to Saturn. So there is a bit of that needing of patience, as I was discussing earlier. And this could be pertaining to your self-expression. And also the shift that's taking place in terms of, there's been a lot of emphasis on your relationships lately. But now Mercury's going into your 8th house, which is the house of getting deeper in life and expressing yourself in more deeper ways in this case for you. So for about the next couple months here, there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the 8th. Really good for becoming more aware of any unhealthy patterns you may have or vulnerabilities you may have that you can accept. And again, maybe getting vulnerable in those relationships, which I think is a nice progression coming out of the 7th. But this is where the whole cycle just started, this lunar cycle from last week. So really for this next month, in this case, depending on when you're watching this, 3 weeks, really good to just continue to develop this, right? Develop this area. There's lots of opportunities here. This area has already been expanding for you the past year. Maybe those fears and all that have been expanded. Maybe you have been at the same time, though, seeing the opportunity and getting luck, an opportunity to break those chains, break those cycles, and even to see what truly matters in life and how to connect to that as well. So with that Jupiter, though, Jupiter opposite up to Uranus, which is your modern ruler, mind you, does suggest that there's likely been this bit of freedom that you've been wanting to break free from since December, and in the case of the ruler, probably wanting to expand in general. And it could have to do with certainly the deeper stuff and shared stuff, but also in terms of your resources, finances, investments, savings, anything like that, wanting to have more freedom with this area. So if there's been anything since December involving this resource sector that you have been feeling like you've been working on, developing in this context, this could be a final integration of this. So listen to that freedom, make those changes, but again, stay balanced with this opposition, simply because we don't want to just go into the resource, finances, stuff like that, that kind of freedom, without, connecting to the deeper, what matters most in life stuff, and vice versa. We don't want to just go into the deeper and neglect the finances, because then that wanting to break free comes back. So integrating the two, but again, you're already sort of veteran with this since December, you've been working on it. So just this final culmination, final integration of freedom in those areas, balanced freedom. Now, Pluto does go direct on Thursday, and so this could be a shift here involving your tribe, your groups, and then also, too, with your aspirations, something shifting there for the next 6 months. Really good for you to be implementing some powerful changes in your life that you feel guided to in terms of your tribe, your community, or your future aspirations in life. All right, you got Pluto now. Moving forward, helping you face those fears, make those changes, remove those obstacles in that area. And if there's been anything that you've been reflecting on in that area, that also starts to move forward for you. Now, Venus does oppose up to Neptune Friday, Saturday. So this is involving the relationship area. Like I said, it's been emphasized, but Neptune's been in your 1st house. This is, been for a long time, this uncertainty about who you are, what you want, where you're headed, where life's going. And so if you feel any uncertainty coming up, maybe in this case more in terms of relationships, or maybe in terms of your home life or your life path, faith and trust, right? You've been developing this already. letting go of what's outside of your control. Faith and trust as best as you can Friday, Saturday, and maybe spiritual activities, meditation, etc. can really help integrate this in healthy ways. Saturday, Sunday, the week ends with Mars trining up to Pluto, very powerful aspect, supporting the relationship sector. And also in this case, supporting your career sector. In fact, if there's anything you feel confident about, active towards in terms of relationships and how they sort of mix with your career, actually, they're really intertwined right now. Yes, you have the support here. Listen to your inner guidance. But if your inner guidance is saying, that it's some change you want to make, you could find that you have the confidence, the courage, the willingness to face fears, to make positive changes, both with your relationships and your productive life. All right, so Aquarius, have a fantastic week. I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, please like, comment, and share it with your friends and family. And I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast. All right, Pisces, welcome to your weekly forecast. So there's been a lot of concentration of energy lately on your 7th house of relationships. Well, actually for the past year, you've had your ruler, Jupiter, here since I believe this time last year. So it has been an area of expansion for you, has been an area of learning for you, but just recently you did just have that new moon last week here. So this is part of a cycle. It's a monthly cycle. It's also a yearly cycle of whatever this new perspective is on relationships or a new thing in relationships. And when I say relationships, I mean all one-to-one connections and really just interacting with other in general. So great week to continue to focus on that. Mercury is going into this 7th house at the beginning of the week, Monday, Tuesday, which means your mind is likely starting to go into this relationship sector as well. And could be doubly emphasizing it because Mercury does rule your 7th. But on Monday, be patient with it. Mercury squares Saturn. It's a bigger picture here. Or if there's restriction, it's about seeing the big picture. It's about patience. It's about discipline. It's about doing that grounded thing. And I think if you're willing to do that, you can find this to be a very constructive beginning of the week involving that relationship area. And also with your home, if there's anything pertaining to that as well. Jupiter opposite up to Uranus goes exact Wednesday, Thursday. This is important because it is involving your ruler, Jupiter, and Uranus in your 1st house, in your sign. So since December, if you've been feeling like breaking free in the independent area, because there's been this, again, expansion with relationships, but at the same time, there's been this needing of freedom with your autonomy, your independence, your personal needs. So some good questions might be to ask yourself midweek, how can you balance both your independence and relationships, your personal needs and your relationship needs, and how you can have grounded freedom without going to either extreme, either into just the independence or into just the relationships. It is about both. We can't have good relationships without self-autonomy, and we can't have self-autonomy without relationships in our life. So it's that kind of a thing. And if you are feeling that bottlenecking, because again, it's your ruler opposite Uranus, just keeping it cool. Again, it's about grounded change, balanced change, and just taking it one step at a time. Now, this has been going on since December, so if there has been anything pertaining to this since December, this could be also a culmination involving these matters for you. Now, Pluto is going station direct in your 10th house, so if you've been rethinking career stuff past 6 months, that could start to move forward for you. Really good to start to be implementing some career stuff anyways. I feel like Thursday onward, give it some time. Of course, Pluto's got to start gaining momentum, and always listen to your inner guidance. That's the most important thing. But if you're guided to, if you're feeling like there's some fears you can face, some patterns you can break involving the productive life, future life, achievement, success, great to tap into that and make those changes in that area if you're guided to. Now, Venus does oppose up to Neptune, your modern ruler, here around Friday, Saturday. So, good to stay balanced with the relationship stuff Friday, Saturday as well, simply because it is Venus. but also to keep things clear in terms of communication. She does rule your 3rd house. And again, right now, there's such a good energy for you to get into your work or your routine, your day-to-day, which is where Mars and Venus are in your 6th house. But then again, remembering to be receptive, maybe get your alone time, meditate, just balancing the day-to-day with the rest, something like that could be important for you. Now, the week does end Saturday, Sunday with Mars trining up to Pluto, giving you powerful change here, I think, with your work or routine. All right. And it's all integrated with the fact that, you've been seeing the value of your work or your routine. And it could be finances or something you're attracting or developing there. So whatever is involving finances, resources, your work, day-to-day stuff, if you're feeling any confidence, any action, any willingness to remove obstacles in that area, could be a very powerful weekend to do that, even going into Monday of next week. And again, it's all likely because of the shift of your perspective involving that career there on Thursday. All right, so Pisces, have a fantastic week. Thank you for all of your likes, comments, and shares with these videos. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment down below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next forecast.